Are you ready for possible Russian attack?
We are always ready. All the eastern flank is a target. We have not put any limitations. I do not have very precise location of our FH-70s howitzers, what we gave to Ukrainian army. And it's not important. No one from the West can say that now you have to sit behind the table.
And NATO membership is not on the negotiation table as a...
It might be. Why not?
Hanno, I'm happy to have you here with us in Prague, and let me start directly from a question which is a key for Ukraine and for Ukrainian military now. You definitely follow Kursk Operation. We have heard here different views on it. Some people do criticize, some support. What do you think? Does it worth it? Овчинка стоит выделки?
When we talk about Kursk operation, then of course General Sergiy and President Zelensky are the ones who have the best overview why it was done and what are the purposes of that. But as I see it, Ukraine showed that they can fight. Ukraine showed that if necessary, they have the manpower and the equipment also to take back their own land. But not only on land, but also to show Russia that they are not so mighty as it might be, or as many are thinking. So this is why, of course, we have to see how it proceeds, how it goes, but for sure it gives a lot of new opportunities also for Ukrainian army, Ukrainian government, to when we talk about possible negotiations, and in one moment we will see negotiations. This is clear that in one moment, whatever the time will be, we don't know the time, but during the negotiations, everyone has to have good cards, and to have good cards, you have to, earn these, and this is exactly what Ukraine is doing at the moment. One is keeping Russia where it is on Ukrainian soil, and the other part is that they took a part of Russia to have better positions either for their own defensive lines in Ukraine, because Russia has to move some of the forces to the Kursk direction, and to have also better position for the negotiations. But this is probably something what everybody understands.
So it's kind of trump card for Ukraine.
Well, it sounds differently when you say a trump card, but the point is, yes, that Ukrainian military conducted this operation very carefully and very well. So let's see how it proceeds.
To be frank, I think that after this operation, all red lines for our Western partners, red lines drawn by themselves, should vanish. Because, well, there is no more red lines than just taking Russian territory with Western equipment. But these lines still exist. Why did it not?
Actually, I do not want to talk at all about red lines, because we've seen throughout the war that, if even somebody is saying that there is one red line or the other red line, actually, of course, in your head, there are some kind of red lines for different people in different ways. But in reality, we see that it's just a matter of tactics and strategic approach, how you fight this war and how you will take back the land, or how you will defend the country and people. But of course, we all understand that Ukraine has restrictions, and not to talk about red lines, I would say that we need to talk about restrictions, and this is something where Estonia has been very clear that we do not support any restrictions, because when we are giving some weapons or weapon systems or ammunition to Ukraine, then you cannot fight one hand behind your back. So, and this is the point.
And Estonian equipment is used in Kursk Oblast?
Well, we have not put any limitations, and of course we are also not controlling where is our equipment. We know that our equipment is widely used, our weapons are widely used, and also the ammunition we've sent many times is used. So for instance, at the moment I do not have very let's say, a very precise location of our FH-70s howitzers, what we gave to Ukrainian army. So, and it's not important, because when we have given this already to Ukraine, then Ukraine has the freedom to use them how they see it's necessary.
Of course, you did not donate weaponry for long-range strikes, because there are a few countries that do that, because not many countries have possess that equipment. But do you see that there is something changed, that this permission is looming?
I see that there are many countries who say that there should not be no limitations. I see that for some countries there still are some kind of burdens or some kind of limitations, and they do not want to escalate when they say that. As again said by me, that I don't see any need to talk about also escalation, not only red line but escalation, because Russia has been the one who is escalating all the time. And we see also that Ukraine, maybe these limitations have given an extra opportunity for Ukrainian army, for Ukrainian defense industry, to ramp up the production and to boost the innovation, because we see that the attacks on the oil refineries and to a very long distance have been successful.
What do people afraid of? You talk to your colleagues, defense ministers of other NATO allies. What do they afraid of? What kind of escalation could happen?
On that level, nobody is saying that what are the discussions in the governments. They are just coming out with the message, and the message in some cases, when we take some countries, is very clear that at this moment they are not permitting Ukraine to use these weapons or this kind of ammunition.
Let me ask about red line, but a different one for Putin. Is he ready to cross a red line by attacking a NATO ally one day?
Well, we cannot avoid it, or we cannot, not avoid it. Avoid is not the right word. So we of course we have to be ready for that, because in fact we have seen that. So we've seen drone passing the border of Romania. We've seen a rocket in Poland. So we've seen these things already. So. Of course, it's not an direct attack at the moment, so it was still aimed on Ukraine. But we have to be ready. And actually, to be honest, I'm not looking so much on that, what Putin can do or might do. I'm looking on that he is a threat. Russia is a threat, not only to Estonia, but all to the collective West. And when there is a threat, we have to address this threat. And addressing this threat means that the only word or the only message Russia understands is a power. And this is why we are ramping up our own production. This is why we have increased our defense spendings to more than 3%. This is why we are acquiring a lot of ammunition, etc., etc. This is why we have the new regional plans for NATO countries. And this is how we respond to that threat what Russia is posing at the moment for the West.
And let's not hide that, in fact, Estonia with Narva is probably a perfect target for Putin. At least he might see that.
All the eastern flank is a target. Of course, those countries who have direct border line with Russia have the highest risk. So when we start from high north, so Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania has with Kaliningrad, but also Belarus. We know that there is no difference, is it Russia or Belarus? So Poland, these countries are of course at the highest risk, because to go to the other countries you need to pass something. Okay, Romania has the Black Sea, but still the early warning time is a bit different when we talk about Baltic countries, Poland, Finland, and we talk about other eastern flank countries. So
preparedness for possible attack means that you have to have a plan what happens if you need to have it for it not to happen. Are you ready for possible Russian attack?
We are always ready. We've been ready all the time. when I go back more than 100 years to Estonian independence war, then Estonian independence war started for Estonia with only 2,000 men in our army, and not even all of them had the rifle. But we won that war against Russia. So that shows that yes, even the small one can win against Russia, can fight for its freedom, for its independence, territorial integrity, and this is what we have done more than 100 years ago, and it's not comparable, the situation, what was then and what is now. So of course Estonia is ready, and this is also why we joined, for instance, 20 years back with NATO.
And do you see that other NATO allies do understand that Russia can really attack any of the ally one day?
When I take the political leadership and these circles where I go, NATO summit, ministerials, then yes, everybody understands that Russia is the only threat to NATO countries and to the alliance. So this is why, as I said, we've approved new regional plans in Vilnius. We changed the total concept of defense already 2 years ago, or even more than 2 years ago in Madrid. So these are the steps we have made after the war started in Ukraine, because we see that even against a big country like Ukraine, Russia did not hesitate to conduct an attack.
To end up, let me ask you about Ukrainian victory. I hope you believe in victory, yes.
Of course.
But how do you see that? But please avoid phrases like Ukrainians should define. Ukrainians did already define.
Of course, and we know what Ukraine wants. It wants back all the territory of Ukraine. What was agreed. It has to be in our goal, or it has to be our goal, because otherwise there is no point to discuss that. What to just ask, because it is important that collective West knows that there is a possibility, there is a way, and Ukrainian army can liberate the country, and Ukrainian army can fight for the country and for the people. So this is the most important. If Ukrainians decide something else, it's their choice. But for us, for Estonia, for Latvia, Lithuania, all the other allies, there is only one goal: to get back all the territory of Ukraine.
But when you refer to negotiations, what does it mean?
In one moment, every war has negotiations which will end the war. We've seen that in the history, and in one moment, there has to be internationally recognized peace. And the question just is when it happens, and when Ukraine is also ready for that. Because now I have to say that, no one from the West can say that now you have to sit behind the table. This is not our right to say.
Maybe Orban does.
Well, even when he says this is not his right to say, that's what I'm saying, that, you have the right, the only right, to say when you are ready to negotiate, when is the position for you on the battlefield such that you can go to these negotiations.
And NATO membership is not on the negotiation table as a...
It might be. Why not? Because, for Estonia, it has always been very clear that,
But I mean negotiations with Russia.
Well, once again, considering the starting point of the negotiations, then the outcome might differ. But nevertheless, our aim, our position has always been very clear, and then we will not change our position that, you have to take back and get back all the territories, and you have the rightful place in the family of NATO and also European Union, because we have stood always for that every country, every society, every government has the right to say how we want to proceed. Do we want to be a member of NATO? Do we want to be a member of European Union? Every country and every people in this country has this right to say.
The very last question about Ukrainian males who stay in Estonia. There was a discussion in Ukraine, what should we do? How can we get people to our army? Do you see a way how Estonia can help us to engage those people to return? Or maybe to some way even to help to return those males who can be conscripted?
We are cooperating with Ukrainian government here, definitely. When Ukrainian government is asking for our help, then of course we need to see what is the international right and how we can proceed. But we've always said that we are cooperating as much as we can with the Ukrainian government. But as I understand today, the focus for Ukrainian government is to offer these people opportunity to return voluntarily. So, of course, we all understand that still it is a very difficult task, but let's see how the things are developing and how the Ukrainian government will decide the question of mobilization and how this will proceed. So then we can come back to that question.
Thank you very much for that interview.